Hello and welcome to today's free trading video and market analysis. I'm your host, Kenny, Senior Research Analyst with the MiniAnalyst.com. First thing we're looking at here is a chart of the market. This is the mini S&P 500 futures contract front month, and we're looking at our proprietary intraday indicators suggesting the dynamics of the market and where it is from an intraday basis. Here's Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, and half of Monday. We're going to scroll back just a little bit here and look at Monday. Last video I had was last Friday. Really a choppy picture was the day on Friday, but as you can see, there was this huge move up late in the day, and but there just really wasn't anything that was going to sustain it if you look at the market. And sorry about that. If you look at the market, and obviously what you have the day following is if you just stayed away from all this ridiculous choppiness, you would see that we did get a bull trap open on Monday morning. We got the higher high above the close, but we weren't able to surmount the high of the late session on Friday. But if you look, the bearish picture here was just overwhelming in our primary and secondary indicators. We did have continued bearishness and accelerating bearishness here, full-blown bearishness. We break back below the trend around 765, retested, and it's just all she wrote for the bulls. Bears just having a field day with a gain of about 25 points for the day. As you can see, full bearishness was the indication for the day on Monday. We did have some divergences develop. We did have a divergence here, as you can see there, and we're actually in full green here. Bullish did suggest that we would at least get some move to the upside, and we certainly did once we saw the higher low on around midday and the reclamation of the trend and retest. It was just off to the races for the bulls. So just really a trader's market, and actually these 2 days were dynamic for our portfolios, and we'll look at those in a second. If you move on to Wednesday, right here, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, if you move on to Wednesday, we did see some real divergences here amongst our indicators, suggesting just a choppy go nowhere market. Bullish was the case here, bearish was the case here, just choppy. A trader's market to be sure, but really not expecting any trend days. And as you can see, boom, and complete erasure of all those gains was the case there. The 775 to 780 level in the mini S&Ps just really proven to be very strong resistance. Positive was the bullish, was the bias on Thursday, but as you can see, it was quickly eroded. By the time we got to midday and broke below the trend, the bears were in full control, with the exception of here. So we did get the subsequent move lower in the market on Thursday, and as we stand here today on Friday, just really can't make any headway. The market opened markedly lower, has come back up to, look at this very key level here. 750 is the very round and horizontally significant level in the mini S&Ps right now as we stand, being the support of both the prior 2 days. And of course now on resistance duty, as you can plainly see right there, where the underpinning is clearly bearish, moving to bearish on these two right here, and certainly below the trend, unable to get any headway above resistance. So certainly the bears are in control of the market here as we speak. If we switch over and look at the daily, there's our S&P System 2.0 nailing every turn of the market. Sell, a little bit of choppiness there, excuse my language. Nice 25-point gain there, 77.5 short, covering at 745, another 30 points, all within about a week, a little bit more, so that's very nice. But we're trying to find the daily, and there it is. So we'll just minimize that. So here's the daily chart. As you can see, we're retesting the support from Monday and Tuesday. As we speak, this is the cash market. 740 to 745, we'll just call it 745, is the case. Just came back up to retest the shortest term measure of trend in the market, and just barely touched it with 780 in the cash was the resistance, and here we are at the low. So where do we go from here? We're going to go ahead and zoom out a little bit there. Obviously we did switch back to neutral around, I guess it was 789. We actually don't have our marker here yet. We went bearish after booking 500 points in the cash market. We actually switched to bullish against every key measure that we follow on a daily perspective. So that was very interesting. We did take a risk. It didn't pay off this time, but with 500 points in gains, you can play a little bit with the house's money and expect an extreme. We just held on too long, and the market has fallen lower. We are retesting these lows in early November. If you look, the low was 741.43. Where are we now? 745. So it remains to be seen if these lows are going to hold. We do remain looking at our indicators fully bearish from a directional movement perspective, in full out bearishness from a momentum perspective, intermediate term and short term bearish from a trend following perspective, from a horizontal price perspective, just fully bearish is the case on the market right here. And so that's where we stand in the daily. We're actually just neutral, waiting to see if these lows are going to hold in the market. But so where are our portfolios? Like I said, we did have a very nice couple of days. There's our 4-day. Here's a nice little 2-day stretch that we had here, Monday and Tuesday, with those very nice moves in the market. As you can see, putting up banner days. We mentioned last Friday in this video, in this space, that it was certainly the time. From a historical perspective, we had matched or equaled the historical maximum drawdowns for a lot of our portfolios. Then was a great time to get started if any of our clients had additional funds to put to work, or if you sitting out there as a prospective client interested, not knowing when to start. That was a great opportunity to start, we mentioned, and of course it did come to fruition. We did realize some incredible numbers on Monday and Tuesday in our portfolios, and as you can see on the 2-day stretch for Monday and Tuesday, the standout was, as the top two are usually the MAPDT and the dual day trader. MAPDT gains 48.7%, 45% was the gain for the dual day trader, 33% for the Delta DTS. Just a very impressive, probably an average of 25 to 30% was the gains for these primary portfolios from a 2-day stretch. So definitely a great time. Still is the case to get started with a couple of these portfolios. And there's actually the 4-day. We're up. We didn't include today's. We're up. The dual day trader we just checked was up $400. The MAPDT was up $1,000. So there was the case. More gains were the case yesterday. $800 for the MAPDT. Dual day trader and triple threat didn't trade, so we're up another $400 here. So over 40% for the dual day trader, over 45% for the MAPDT is the case as we stand. And of course, all the other portfolios really performing nicely. Just one day of losses for the week was Wednesday, and as you can see, the very aggressive swinger DT putting in a loss. MAFX Lite actually had a banner day on the 24th. So that was a very impressive day, which was Tuesday. $5,300 was the gain for the MFX Lite, and if you look at the actual portfolio, it's up over the last 5 days, almost 30% for the last 5 days. There, of course, is that banner day on Tuesday. So if you guys are interested in these portfolios, we are continuing our special, being it's such a great time to get started. So if you're interested, you can subscribe to MFX Lite actually, or you can go to the Platinum Day Traders and subscribe to any of the day trading portfolios. For instance, here's the MAPDT Original. You can go ahead and add that to cart, enter promo video right there, and you can actually save, we'll get that right there, $500 on any of these portfolios. Any MAPDT, any Forex portfolio, you can save $500, even at $2,000. So if you guys have any questions, go to the website, chat with the support team, or shoot us an email. And we hope you're having a great trading week, and we'll see you next time.